if you want full Android, I'm convinced you want Boox. So then the question is, what Boox do you want? If you can't decide which one of the Boox tablets do you want? So I'm going to run through a way to think about the Boox lineup, and certainly when the Boox Tab Ultra, which is this device that we've got in front of us right here, when that first came out, people were like, oh, I'm so confused now about this lineup, you know, which one should I buy? Well, they're split into, for me anyway, they're split into two categories. They're split into one category, which is better for notes and reading, and they're very good for notes and reading. And the other category, which this belongs to, is more of a productivity device. It's still good for notes and reading, don't get me wrong, but certainly if you want notes and reading purely, then you should perhaps think about what I'm going to put in this column. And we're going to put the devices, all the different options that Boox have, into these two columns. This is going to be an increasing size and therefore increasing expense, because the reason why these are expensive in the slightest is because of the e-ink screen. Is an expensive piece of tech, so this is higher price down the bottom here as well. I think I'll just boost the lights just a little bit. On the notes and reading side, in the small end, you can have the pure readers, the Poke or the Leaf. Essentially, the Poke is the size of an ordinary Kindle and the Leaf is the size of a Kindle Oasis. So that's the smallest and cheapest of the Boox devices. They're still full Android. There's still, you know, lots to love about them because of that. The next one in this notes and reading kind of category would be the Nova Air 2. So the Nova Air line, if you like. The Nova Air 2 is their current one. That is the A5 device. That is an excellent note taker and an excellent reader, but it's not going to be a productivity powerhouse like what will be over here. And then there is the Note Air 2, and the Note Air 2 Plus, which is the most recent one. This is now the A5 size. So this was the A6 size, and this is now the A5 size. You don't really have another thing now, the current device, in the pure notes and reading. It would have been a Max Lumi, but that has been superseded by the Tab X. On the productivity side, you've got the choice, therefore, of the Tab Ultra and now the Tab Ultra C, and that's the same size as the Note Air 2 Plus, but it is leaning more towards a productivity device. And finally, you've got the A4 size, which is the Tab X. But that's not all I'm going to just talk about for Boox. I'm going to help you make the decision with a little bit more on this device as well, so just to have a kind of look. Because if you want an Android tablet, then look what else you can do. You can use Android style navigation to go into recents and go back to the website ewritable.com, where I've loaded up the comparison chart that I have worked with Dan to make by providing the data on all the different categories that I use to compare the e-ink tablets. I'm going to talk briefly about what these categories are. The use cases was the first way that I actually started comparing e-ink tablets. It was just on the use cases, things like artwork, design, presenting, all those different things that you might do on tablets. And then I decided to think about, well, you know, people in my audience tend to be professional people with responsible jobs who need things to do help them with their professional workflows. And so I thought through different professional behaviors, things that professionals need to do in their daily work. Like, for instance, I'm a teacher. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, what things would you need? So they're the second comparison that we'll do. And then I split it into three categories with your help in the audience actually thinking about exactly what I should include. And this is what we came up together, was that you should think about it in software, then the hardware, and then the manufacturer. So I'm going to actually get three spider charts. So what you can do on this, you can also incidentally compare them by specifications on Dan's website. What I've done is enabled you to compare them based on the scores that I've given these devices, based on my use of them at work. And that's really my offer here on this channel when it comes to e-ink tablets, is I will use these things for work, and then I will produce you content which tells you about their actual use in the real life world of a real professional using them at work. Here's the first sort of set of comparison things. We're looking at the four main Boox devices. We're not talking about the Poke or the Leaf. So the four main categories right now, the Note Air 2 Plus, you can see the glorious color screen there. I thought about making this into a little PowerPoint, but I thought, no, do you know what? They're probably going to want to see it on the Tab Ultra screen, because why not? So the blue in the background there is the Note Air 2 Plus, a previous absolute winner. And then you can see basically the Note Air 2 Plus and the Nova Air is just lagging that slight bit behind in all categories. In fact, I hadn't really realized this was the case, but look, it's just one behind the Note Air 2 Plus in every single one of these categories. So you can see it as just being a mini note device. But then in all of the categories, apart from in the reading, and I'll tell you why the Tab X is actually the better reader, in my opinion, than the Note Air 2 Plus. But you see, the Note Air 2 Plus is a better reader than this, which is the Tab Ultra. And I put the Tab Ultra to be just for pure reading, in line with the Nova Air 2. That's because it's weightier. Also, its battery is not as good by a long shot. And those are things that are important in readers. To give you a ballpark, I booted this back up. It was at 50 when I started sitting down to set everything up, which was about an hour and a half ago. It's gone down 5% in that time. So, that's reasonably significant. The battery life is not great on this latest Boox Tab Ultra C here. So art, I've actually scored those much higher than the Note Air 2 Plus and the Nova Air. And the reason for that is because now they have tilt the pencils, which is absolutely great. And obviously the Tab Ultra C is great and it's better than the Tab Ultra, which I haven't put into this comparison, just it will get a bit too busy, I think. But because it has that color, and I don't know if you saw my lock screen at the very start, but it does look really good. Actually drawing on it is great. I've also put the Tab Ultra C slightly higher for work, and quite considerably higher. Although these are good scores, the Note Air 2 Plus is good for work. It is really, really good for work. But it doesn't have the keyboard case, and it doesn't have the ability to use apps in this amazing way. I mean, look what screen mode I'm in right now. I'm in balanced screen mode. I don't even need to, in my opinion, go to ultra fast, although scrolling on a website looks great on ultra fast. I think balance mode is it's a pretty well balanced mode for everything that you want to do on your E-Ink tablet. And I can at any point do a full refresh and it looks nice and crisp and clear on the balanced mode, but it's not like that HD mode, which is refreshing all the time. Tab X I put a little bit lower in work, even though it is very large and that is excellent for work-based applications. I put it a little bit lower because it doesn't have the keyboard case, and the keyboard case is a really useful thing. And also it doesn't have the color, which work-based apps are very good when you use them with color. Presenting, both of them score highly, but again, Tab Ultra C giving you the option of using full PowerPoint app on your work account, so you can access all of your work PowerPoints and present either by Miracast or by actually using Space Desk, as I've demonstrated in a recent video, to just mirror a computer screen, so you can use it to swipe along. It's got all the input, the two-way input. And the design of them, I really like the design of the Tab Ultra C. I know a lot of people don't. I don't mind the camera bump because it's always going to live in one of its two cases. And I don't mind the sharp edges, although since people have been noticing the sharp edges, I have noticed them more, which is an interesting thing. But I like things like the fingerprint reader. It all works quite well. I like the design of the Tab Ultra C. I really love the design of the Note Air 2 Plus as well, but I prefer the design in the Tab Ultra C. Having the pogo pins is great. So here's what you can do on this website is I can leave those four actually selected, and I can take off these use cases and I can go through and add in the professional behaviors now. Now, the idea of this is not so that you go through and compare all of them like we're talking through today, but it's so that you pick the things that matter most to you, and then you can get my sort of opinions on them with a comparison chart on the things that matter to you. And it's nice, isn't it, that I can show them in a video like this. Let me know if you're getting value from this. Let me know if this is useful. This is the professional behaviors, and I think they're really, really important. And communication, you can see I've put the Tab Ultra C higher because it's an excellent communicator. The Nova Air 2 is great for communication. It's never going to replace your laptop for writing emails, for instance. This can replace your laptop for writing emails. The Tab X, not quite so much, because you are going to have that keyboard case with you at all times. Collaboration though, Tab X and Tab Ultra C are really, really good for that. Absolutely they are, because you've got your full Android apps. You've got access to all of the work-based Microsoft Cloud if you use that. For reading and learning, I've put the Tab X right at the top. There's no surprise about that. That's because, once again, it's got that huge screen for reading academic papers, which is what most of us who are on this live stream today will be most concerned about. Sure, comics and things look great on the Tab Ultra C. Tab Ultra C is coming out and planning on organization. Tab X also very good there as well. The best one is the Tab Ultra C. Once again, because you can plan and organize with the help of any other app that you can get on the Android ecosystem. And then innovation and creation, I put Tab Ultra C and Tab X equal because the big screen for things like art is absolutely fabulous. Again, I can change what I want to compare on. And you can see also how well this is working. You know, it's just getting every single finger touch just right. The E-Ink screen and all the Wacom input and all the touch is really, really good on this. You can see pretty much a lot of these, especially the ones that are compared with things that are the same throughout Boox, are the same. So all the stuff about the company, the cloud, the updates, the customer service are all exactly the same. Hardware features, you can see that the Tab Ultra C is just streets ahead of the others. The Tab X and the Nova 2, they're a little bit behind. I suppose I should have put the Tab X a little bit higher than the other two because of that huge screen. It is absolutely a fabulous screen, and the GPU. But I think the other things that you get with the Tab Ultra series are really nice, especially the keyboard case. Design and build, you can see actually, look, the Note Air 2 Plus, I did give a very high score on the design and build. It is a really good design, and it will still appeal to some people more than the Tab Ultra, and that's what I'm saying about if you know you want Android, but you know you're still wanting a reading and note-taking focused device, that's what it's there for. It is still a viable and still a very good device. And pen and screen feel, actually, have I put them all on exactly the same? All of them? Yeah, all of them on 7. I don't dislike the screen feel of the Tab Ultra. It isn't iPad-esque, and the pens are all the same as well. Again, I think the pen and screen feel comes down to personal preference. There are some which objectively are not as good. It tends to be the ones that aren't Wacom, incidentally, or the ones that go for more solid tips that last for longer, excluding the Supernote, which has its own feeling. I think pen and screen feel is personal preference. You can see where the Tab Ultra and Tab X just really excel is the other apps, and the Tab Ultra C especially, because it has that color as well, and you can just see how well it's running here with the browser, for instance, which is ordinary Chrome in Android, and the reading app, same for all of them. Okay, so that is your run through of all of the Boox tablets and which ones I think you should buy. Anyone thinking about these? Anyone umming and erring? Anyone, is that helpful for you? Is that helped you make the decision? If you want full Android, you want Boox, basically. I think that's the best one.